Hello and welcome to the DKM podcast. This is your boy Kenny. I'm here with Marcos and Daniel. How you guys
Return
doing
of the
today?
King. Return of
I'm
the
glad you're
King.
the return of the king. He's now the king of Pride Rock.
King of Parade Rick.
Honestly, dude,
Yeah.
I'm surprised how like a lot of people haven't heard like or seen the movies of Lord of the Rings until the Hobbit films came out,
Oh
and
yeah.
they've been missing out, dude. Lord of the Rings is one of those things that you're like,
I've seen
what?
I
You've seen
haven't
what?
seen Lord of the Rings actually. I've seen like a small bit of it actually.
It's very interesting,
Really?
very nice open world.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that you're like that. It no matter when you watch it, really, it like the CGI looks great even now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not because they use those realistic effects. Um, Rarely did they use CGI, but when they did, it still looks decent because
The
it
Jurassic Park formula. They still use practical
right
effects at most because they knew that CGI would date the film like really fast.
Oh
right.
yeah. I mean, look at
That's
Star
exactly that.
Wars.
I was gonna say actually the first Spider-Man movie. Like I've been seeing clips about the first like the Sam Raimi trilogy and stuff.
Right.
Man,
Well,
like
everybody's
I
kind
know
of
that
really excited about what's it called? The
No Way Home.
yeah.
Yeah, because this is just a big celebratory, like, oh shit, Doc Ock, like the best villain from the Raimi trilogy is, he's in this new movie. And, it's also been rumored for the longest time. Admittedly, though, I haven't been really following the Spider Man movies since, like, I've seen Amazing Spider Man once in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen, like, which is the one with Tom Holland again?
Uh, f- uh, there's Far From Home, and then there's
Yeah. There's Far From Home, and then
that
there's
was the second one,
Homecoming.
Homecoming. Yeah,
Homecoming, okay.
that was the
All
first
right, all
one.
right. So that's what I'm trying to remember because I knew about the three Spider-Mans. There's Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and then later to, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, but yeah, I was watching like clips of like the first movie, and man,
Mm-hmm.
like at the time, like we thought it was really good, and I still think there's sort of charm to it, but you never realize how oddly edited it is. I think maybe that's why my dumb kid brain like really enjoyed the movie because the editing was so fast and snappy that it's almost like if you watch it now, it's kind of meme worthy. And plus you got like the CGI is like all over the place where it's like it's squash and stretch everywhere. Um, but yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong though, but the original Sam Raimi trilogy, which basically helped put comic book movies out there, like out into the
hmm
like made them popular, as
I
well as
remember reading
Blade and
something.
whatnot. But what you were saying?
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say. I remember reading something about when they asked Stanley. Mind you, this was 2014,
Mm-hmm.
or 2013 or 2010. I remember they asked him like, "What is your favorite superhero movie that they made?" And he said, I think the way how he said it was he liked the first Spider-Man movie because at the time he considered it like the first modern superhero film.
Right.
Heavy on the CGI, much more action, make more cinematic universe, things like that, right? And I
Right.
think I understand where he's like coming from. Like it may have not be the best now, but for what it was in early 2000s, setting the bar and the fact that Sony paid millions of dollars to get the movie rights for Spider-Man and then it paid off so well is what makes it so good. Because I would make the argument that if it wasn't for the Sam Raimi trilogy Spider-Man movies, I don't think we would ever have the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right. I mean, that's definitely true, and Sony really wanted to get Spider-Man because no one wanted Michael Jackson to have it. But as I was saying, the one thing I will say that I enjoy the most about the Sam Raimi trilogy is like you can definitely feel the intensity in that movie. Like
Yeah.
the moments where like, hey, this is some like villainous things that are happening. Like the Green Goblin, the first film, how he
Mm-hmm.
killed the people, the board of directors that basically betrayed him. Like, and you saw that he basically disintegrated them down to their bones. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh wow. Like watching them
But
as a
like,
kid, I was like, yo, cool. They got disintegrated. But as an adult, watching everything else, all these other movies, all these other Marvel movies that came out, this being their first big superhero movie, and seeing that happening, and all the other things Green Goblin did in that film, I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow,
He was
this
definitely an
movie was
actual villain.
it was a real movie. It was like
Yeah.
like they didn't pull their punches. Like obviously you can look at the amazing like well not amazing I'm sorry Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock, the train scene, right? We all know the train scene and how like
Yeah.
how crazy it can get. But then when you look at Spider-Man Homecoming, right, where he keeps a boat together, which takes a lot more force to keep together, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as like suspenseful. It doesn't feel as like oh dang.
No, because
Like
he can
this
let
is
go at
bad.
any point and like he'll be fine, and the people just slowly fall into the water. It's not like there's still
Yeah, the
time to
extra training.
save them.
Right. The training one,
Mm,
it's like you can't slow it down, you can't do
Yeah,
anything.
it's that's intense, man. Like you're literally that's the cusp of life or death. Like
speaking
Right.
about the cups of life or death, you want to see the polar opposite of the train scene? Look up the train scene in Invincible. That'd be a fucking hoot and a holler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, like that shows you the how inhuman these antagonists, these villainous types of characters can be, and
called
that's why
sociopath.
true. But I wouldn't say Doc Ock was a sociopath. He
He
is
was
No, he
suffering
lost his
just
from
one.
memory.
trauma. No,
Yeah,
no, he
he
was suffering from trauma, and obviously because of his experiment, his the science was there, the math
fucking
was
robot
there.
arms are talking to
Yeah,
him.
Yeah,
exactly.
the robot arms were
He
talking
lost
to
his
him,
mind.
and then him losing his wife. That like
Right.
it, it,
Yeah,
it
that's
it
what
set
pushed him
down a
over the edge.
huge right. The safety that he had for keeping his mind in check went away. He wasn't aware of it. Like he had grief. He had like everything went wrong. Everything went wrong, and I wouldn't call that a sociopath. He was just a man out of his mind. I wouldn't call him insane because obviously towards the end of the movie he realized, damn, I messed up. I messed up hard, and he had a little redemption thing, which doesn't excuse everything he did. Like it doesn't wipe his sins away, you know. But
No, of course
it
not.
still
I think the better one was with the Spider-Man PS4 game. Spoilers for the ending of Spider-Man
It
PS4.
was so good.
Um,
hmm
Yeah, like that was, in my opinion, a great way of what they did with Doc Ock, and
Yep.
it's one of those things you appreciate more when you play the game again. You saw that there was a little bit of hints of that Doc was eventually going to turn to the bad side,
from the get
where
go. What do you mean?
Yeah,
The first time we
straight
seen
from
no,
the
Doc
no, I
Ock,
mean,
get-go.
no. I'm talking about more like after he got like unfunded and things like that. You
right?
find out that he's providing funding for the same fucking prison. Oddly, that he has blueprints of the jail system. Why does he have all these people's names on the boards? And at first, when you're just playing through the game, you're just trying to get through it as fast as possible.
Hell yeah.
But then there's even proof that like Doc's brain is actually deteriorating, and that's
Right.
why he's kind of rushing through it. And
Right.
then you get to, again, spoiler alert for the Spider-Man PS4 game. Skip a couple seconds if you don't know what I'm talking about. During the final fight where Peter and Doc are fighting in the room, the Doc says like, "Oh, I've changed my ways. I learned I'm in the wrong and stuff." And Peter says, "Look, man, you already made your bed. You got to sleep in it. You know what? I feel bad. I looked up to you. I loved you, man, but." I have to put you away, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there's always that like sinister moment where like Doc says, "You know what, dude, I know your identity. At the end of the day, you're at the mercy of myself, essentially."
Yeah, he
Um.
probably, but he didn't even care. He still got him locked up, so it doesn't even matter at that point.
So
Right, yeah, no,
here's the thing though, that with regards to the Spider-Man 4 game by Insomniac, right? Here's the thing when it comes to the series as a whole. The one thing that this game did differently when it comes to like what the comics did as well, relatively what they did with the comics and not what the movie did, was it gave you this relationship between this man that Peter looked up to as a scientist and just Peter having someone who he can like enjoy being human, because he was doing
Yeah.
works to save humanity, to make humans basically to wipe away certain like illnesses, certain ailments,
Yeah, that's
yada
what
yada yada.
Peter thought that they were doing, was that they were curing. I mean, hell, the Spider-Man PS4 helping a veteran get his arm back, essentially.
Right. So
What happened was that Peter saw like the way it was broken down, because Peter was never like working for Doc for the money.
No,
He's been
no, he
told
was
like all
doing-
work.
Yeah, he said
all-
he was doing it for free. That he was doing it for the cause.
He believed in the cause, and it's not at any moment like Osborn comes up to him and is like, "Hey, Peter, you could work with me and my super mega corporation be fucking loaded." But he didn't agree with the Oscorp's fucking plans. He didn't
Because
want to
Oscorp
do it, and
was
he's
a
like,
shitty
Right.
fucking company to begin with. So
right. And then especially after the fucking controversies and shit, I don't know
So-
if Peter could sleep well at night knowing what the fuck who the hell he's working with.
with
Yeah.
what Daniel brought up with regards to like, oh, like how do you have the prison blueprints and yada yada yada, like he was contracted to work on their systems.
Right.
That's why he was able
Right.
to
That's what I mean.
do everything. But like people like here's the reason why, like with Doc Ock and Martin Lee, which basically Martin Lee was from the get-go the main antagonist of the game.
Oh,
Martin Lee
absolutely.
has some traumatic experience with Oscorp, specifically Norman
Yep.
Osborn,
Yep.
and you can give sympathies to some degree of how he feels, and you can relate, which is why I've always loved any narrative, any film, any book, anything, video game, where there is a villain and antagonist, and they have a reason why they're doing these things, because the legal frameworks of what's happening now is allowing the people who did true evil to get away. These people aren't evil just to be evil. They're doing evil acts because that's the only way they can move forward in their path of revengeance, getting justice, yada yada yada. So
Revengeance.
so Martin Lee was in a similar camp. I'm sorry, to Octavius, but Octavius, obviously his mind was deteriorating, so there wasn't much he could have done anyways, to stay sane. So like you saw his mind go away, and even like there was this little light of hope where Peter actually got through him, and Doc Ock said, "Yeah, all right, I'll stop." And then at that moment, coincidentally, there's something that came up on TV that says, "Oh, Norman Osborn being celebrated, yada yada yada," and then he just said, "You know what? Screw it, I don't care anymore."
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Basically, the whole like group. Basically, everybody villain. At the end of the day, Osborn is the villain for doing all these heinous shit to these people.
Right.
But again, it doesn't. The ends don't justify the means. Obviously, of course, you can't like. I get you're mad at Osborn, and you know and you want to get back at him, but you can't like kill all of New York and release a deadly virus and things like that just to prove a point. Obviously. But going back to Martin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, going back to Martin Lee, I noticed this recently. I was watching this review by a YouTuber called That Boy Aqua, highly recommended. He brought up a good point that Martin Lee, ironically, kind of gets sidelined by the end of the game. Like, he's really not the main focus. I always thought that was weird. Don't get me wrong. I understand that the big thing was that you want to fight, you want to like conclude with Doc Ock's arc and everything. But I always just thought it felt, how would I say, inconclusive is the best way to describe it, because he just gets arrested and then we just never see him again. You know, you don't get that proper like big fight scene. I mean, we do a little bit, but not to the grand scheme of things, you know. And it's not like there's no emotional baggage or things like that. I mean, shit, like there's a part where there's always just been my favorite part where like when Lee says to Aunt May like, "Hey, I'm gonna go away for a business trip," and you know Peter already knows who the hell Martin Lee is, and he goes into his office and he finds a letter saying, "Hey, Aunt May, look, I'm really sorry. I know you've probably seen the news. I'm labeled as a terrorist. I want you to understand that I did this because in the kindness of my heart, I actually wanted to do this organization, but I can't control myself. This is what I have to do, blah, 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 blah. And like, if you take over for me, don't worry, it'll be fine. This was never been a front in the first place. I was very adamant about the cause, but that's the problem with revenge and anger. It takes over you."
So with regards to like Martin Lee getting like the being pushed aside, I would agree and disagree, and here's why. Martin Lee never knew who Spider-Man was, and that's why the ending with Doc Ock was a lot more personal, because from the get-go, from all the Sinister Six got released from prison, they were told to leave Spider-Man alone, just to incapacitate him, and then do your thing. You have a plan.
Yeah.
Basically, they pulled the Darth Vader thing where it's like, remember, no incinerations or shit like that. Disintegration. There you go.
So, yes, your thing's the stun. So here's the thing. That was because Doc Ock knew who Spider-Man was.
Right.
Because a little bit of spoiler.
Dr. Octopus pretty much saw the suit that Peter was working on.
Yeah, and Doc Ock, I guess, to save face,
Spider-Man.
Right, to save face, I'm pretty sure he knew, but all he said was, "Oh, you work for Spider-Man." And then Peter's like, yeah, that. So I'm sure he knew, but even then, like, what's it called? Martin Lee, him not knowing, that was never, like, I feel like that's what got the ball rolling, because you can make the same argument for Fisk, because Fisk, at the beginning of the story, just got one-shotted, and then that's it. We hear from his prison, he keeps talking to us from jail, from prison, from the raft, and then we hear from him, I guess, when you invade his, or when you clean up his illegal buildings that he's in, his little fortresses. And other than that, like, maybe you get one more message out, but that's, like, he gets tossed to the side. But people don't know much about Fisk.
I mean, I would argue the reason why, because it was a necessary evil. The whole power vacuum had to happen after Fisk got arrested,
Right.
because it's true what he said. Like they had to do that. They tried to bring him back for like Miles Morales and shit, and he's still in prison.
Oh,
Right.
I haven't
Yeah.
played Miles, so I wouldn't know.
But either way,
Don't worry, he's not.
either way,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Martin Lee's ending would have been a lot more significant if he knew who Spider-Man was. The same way Doc Ock knew exactly who Spider-Man was, which
Oh,
gave
yeah,
you a
absolutely.
different impact fighting this enemy. Like even then, like, hey, what was it? Yeah, even then, when it came to like the many times that Spider-Man could have easily died, it was because Octavia said, no, don't kill him. So all I'm saying is, much like how we talked about in the past, like there's things that if you really pay attention to the game, because when you said, Daniel, at the beginning, like, oh, people just wanted to play the game and just rush over things, I've never did that. I've never been anything like that ever in my first
100%
playthrough.
That game, I got platinum trophy, everything.
Oh, the reason why I say that though is because nothing sucks more than when you're trying to 100% a game and really get invested into it, and then you get fucking spoiled at the end. That's what I mean. Like you just want to
no,
beat it just so you.
I've never had that problem. I literally look at every detail, and that's when I knew, like, hey, wait a minute, why does he have all these
that,
details
and also, you
and all
know,
that whatnot? But all I know is
Also, because you might not have all the time in the world to play a game, so that's why.
oh no, I like taking my time, regardless of
No, I would too. Actually, I was gonna ask you guys: have you guys ever read like Spider-Man comics or like read any of the stories or anything?
yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if you guys ever read.
No, I didn't, but Marcos did.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever read? Oh fuck, what was I forgot what it was called? I think it's like Sins Past or something.
Sins
You heard of
Past? I don't think so.
Spider-Man Sins Past. Yeah, Sins Past. So I don't admittedly read a lot of comics. I watch a lot of like YouTube videos where they tell the stories and everything.
Right.
But basically, it was a storyline to explain why Green Goblin threw Gwen Stacy off the bridge and essentially killed her and everything.
Okay.
So in Sins Past, it explains that Gwen Stacy fucked Osborn, and then later she gave birth to two fucking twins essentially, and then later that is the reason why Green Goblin specifically targeted Gwen, because
my.
the thing. Yeah, the thing is about like Gwen's death and why some people were very negative towards this whole like Sins Past story was that Gwen was the victim. She's like the ultimate victim. She knew nothing of Spider-Man. She knew nothing of Peter Parker's identity. She was the 100% bystander, got caught in collateral damage essentially.
Okay.
But now, because the Sins Past, they made it more of a reason why Green Goblin, Norman, went out of his way to kill her. And so now Peter has to now, of course, Peter finds out that Gwen's pregnant, but it doesn't know that that's not his kids. He's thinking like, well, I did fuck Gwen, but I don't remember she was pregnant. And mind you, he's already married to Mary Jane, and he's trying to figure out like, well, who's the dad? Blah 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 blah. Because he thinks like, well, I dated Gwen, so it would be possible that I'm the dad. And then you find out it's your fucking arch rival fucked your girlfriend, and then later gave birth to twins, and now the twins are out to kill you.
I will say though,
Stupid.
with regards to comics,
Yeah, as you can imagine, yeah, not everybody was particularly a big fan of this.
I will say, with regards to comics, the whole shtick about Peter Parker accidentally killing Mary Jane because of his semen being radioactive. That's a
Jesus.
very interesting comic canon.
That's called Spider-Man Reign. They try to do the Dark Knight Returns, but it just wasn't. They just didn't get it right. I'm all for an old Peter fighting, Venom again, but holy shit, they could have written a better way to how to make Mary Jane die.
Apparently, with regards to Insomniac's news about Spider-Man 2, they said that this game's going to be a whole lot darker.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean, you got the whole dark atmosphere once the that agent, what was it, Devil's Breath was released. Like things got pretty dark.
Yep.
Man, that's really cringy knowing what happened later in a couple years.
Couple years for what?
I mean, before the pandemic.
Oh, right. But
I just thought,
yeah. I wasn't aware where you were going from. But
yeah.
with the Devil's Breath, like that atmosphere was always like gloomy. The Rikers and the Raft's inmates were out and about.
Shit's fucked, yo.
Everything was going crazy. People are dying left and right, and you're pushing to get this cure. Which was essentially what Norman wanted at the very, very beginning, to cure his hereditary genes of being, just not being healthy. So I'm kind of surprised that they're going for this darker route, and I can't wait to see how that affects Miles, because Peter already had a whole bunch of traumatic experiences prior to the Insomniac's game, because this is a Peter Parker who's 23. He's already experienced being Spider-Man for some time, so he has, he's seen a lot. And then obviously
he's been through the ringer. Yeah.
Right. So Miles Morales, even in his own game, which I'm not gonna spoil anything, he, like, if you compare what he went through there and what Peter went through in the main game, like, it's not the same. So I wonder how this is gonna.
I mean, to be fair though, Miles still has PTSD from that moment that caused his dad to not be alive. So, I mean, shit, they referenced that in Miles Morales. So,
right.
I didn't know that. Thanks, man. I appreciate all these spoilers.
Well, you played... No. I'm talking about Spider-Man PS4. You played that game.
Yeah, but you're talking about Miles Morales, too.
Yeah,
No,
but, okay,
look,
basic...
That's pretty common sense. He saw his own dad got his life taken away.
He's like paranoid of like crowds and shit, and being in New York parades and stuff. He's just paranoid because he went through a fucking incident.
Oh yeah, he got to see Martin Lee face to face. Yeah, it was very interesting. All I know is that, like, if you just compare the apples to apples, I want to know how this is gonna affect, like, the darker tone of the game, how it's gonna affect our protagonists. And it's very interesting because usually in any universe where Miles Morales exists, Peter Parker's dead. So yeah. I mean, that's very interesting. Yeah. I can't wait to see that.
He's that universe of Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess they both exist.
Have you guys ever read the Spider-Verse comic book line?
The Spider-Verse? No.
Yeah, not the one on the movie, like the actual Spider-Verse.
No. I do know about Mobius. That's really like I know about that, but I don't know if you're talking about that.
No, I'm talking about this comic book line where basically Superior Spider-Man, which is a Spider-Man that was, I swear to God, it was Doc Ock. Yeah, right. Doc Ock was dying. Soul transfer, fucking Ginyu forced his bitch ass into Peter's body. Right. He's like, I will be the Superior Spider-Man. And then later he found out that, all these Spider-Mans from different dimensions are dying. I gotta get my army of Spider-Mans to find this fucking killer.
So for the people in the audience who don't know who Superior Spider-Man is specifically, Doc Ock basically still has his old body, and he wanted to explore everything. And like move on to the world, and he was upset how Peter Parker did things as Spider-Man, or how Spider-Man was fighting crime. So he managed to capture Spider-Man, transfer his consciousness into his body and Peter in his into Doc Ock's body, and locked away Peter in Doc Ock's body and just kept him alive, just there.
But don't worry, his spirit was there the whole time and then took over because the comic book writers were like, man, fuck, we can't really do much with Doc Ock and Spider-Man's body.
So here's the thing though, like Doc Ock, like, I'm surprised how much good he did, because he made a business, like he actually changed the world for better, surprisingly. Like he did a lot of things to the point where in this canon, Superior Spider-Man is like Doc Ock's like, I've accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish, what's next? And there is one comic issue where he goes back to his to Peter, who's in his old body, and he swaps back, and then the moment he swaps back, he disconnects life support, and Doc Ock is gone, and now Peter Parker is back in his own body in this new world. But
thanks for making me bedridden a couple years, asshole.
Yeah, he's dead, so he can't really. I guess he atoned his own sins by making the world a better place, even though he was very aggressive.
Which Spider-Man could have done it just fine.
He couldn't do it the same way. You can't convince.
Because he wasn't the Superior Spider-Man. Now he's just back to Amazing Spider-Man.
Exactly, he wasn't. Superior,
he downgraded his bitch ass.
Well, I will say the only like multi-universe Spider-Man thing I've known about is the Mobius one, the one where there's these interdimensional vampires where they need to feed on things, and they love feeding on Spider-Mans because they give them a lot of nutritions, and every Spider-Man that came across.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the crossover thing I'm talking about.
That's the one that I know of, and I loved a lot because you like every Spider-Man's scared of of these vampires because they can't do anything against them, and then Earth 616, the main Peter, just beats the hell out of the main guy, and everyone's like, "Wait, you did what now?" And then everyone's like, "Dude, we found a Spider-Man who can do this," and they started making him his leader, yada yada yada. But it was very interesting. But yeah, how the whole Spider-Man thing is. Yeah, we're really focused on Spider-Man. How did we get to this conversation?
Yeah, we really like talking about the Spider-Man. It's the web podcast.
How did we get here?
All right. Well, we'll detach ourselves from this web. Kenny, you said you're back. Welcome back, dude. We missed you. A lot of people
Oh yeah,
missed you,
let's just
including
have
my
a whole
voices.
conversation for like 30 minutes, and then let's talk about how I'm back.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. We just sidelined you on the track right there. You were the little. You were in the comic book issue. You're in the little corner right there. It says returning guest. I think.
I think exactly. The I think is a very big quotations.
Well, what's up, bro?
Yeah. What's up, King? What's
Oh
up?
man, just keeping up with video game crap.
Oh yeah, what's on your mind?
What
Like
putting those hours in gaming,
heck
bro?
yeah, I've been playing some D2 and just
Diablo 2? Yeah, how
hell
was it?
no, not Diablo 2.
Got it. Honestly, when you said D2, I like the first time I honestly thought Diablo 2 because that's literally what they call it. Like
That's what everyone's saying right now. Yeah.
Why would
Like,
they be
I know-
calling it that?
like I know Destiny 2 exists.
Why do you think, Kenny? Why do you think?
I don't know, because it's Diablo and not Destiny, even though they've been calling Destiny 2 D2 for the past freaking 6 years now.
You know what we probably called D2 first? Diablo 2 when it came out
In, like,
first.
the
You know what? I
90s.
think Destiny came out first because Diablo 2 is coming out this year.
When did Diablo?
Jeez, I wonder it's a remake of a classic game. I wonder when the first game came out.
Well, Destiny 2 is a remaster of Halo. So,
Is it though?
No, it's not. It's not.
Is it though?
It's not.
It's like people tell me like ever since the Paper Mario is coming to the Switch, it's like, is Paper Mario Color Splash good? Is it really though?
Listen, anything after
Or is your
1,000
standards
years
this
door,
low?
anything after 1,000 years door, it's come on.
It's fucking trash. Yeah, that's what I tell people. It's like that's the new game with Paper Mario. It's just when a new Paper Mario game is, it's not dog shit. It's not still good, but it's not dog shit.
Right.
not dog shit yet, but yeah, it's dog shit.
June 27, 2001, the first Diablo 2 came out. That's crazy.
I still have. Funny enough, I have a Diablo 2 strategy guide in my fucking bookshelf right
Nerd.
Jeez.
here. Yeah, I don't even play the game. I just bought it.
Nerd.
You read stuff? Nerd, get out of here. Go back with your higher education. I like looking at pretty pictures on the screen. They make me giggle.
How could you read this? There's no pictures.
Me when someone says if I watch anime, it's like no, I read manga.
That's
I watch manga
me
and
whenever
read
I
anime.
see a single white woman tell me about like the erotica they read. It's like, what the fuck? There's no pictures in this bitch.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I get 50 Shades of Grey, but I need visualization. I need pictures. Then I can understand.
Exactly.
Monkey brain can't read. Monkey brain can only see.
Monkey
I will say,
brain.
though,
My eyes are not meant to read; they're meant to see.
I will say though that I'm speaking about Diablo. I'm so glad that this whole Blizzard thing is now in the past. The lawsuit got
Thank
settled.
God.
Everything's good, and now a $72 billion company that's worth that much. Actually, they don't have that money in liquid assets. Now they have to pay $18 million in some sort of compensation. What's the word when you have to pay people because you did wrong? Restitution. All that nonsense. Setting up new programs to make employees feel safe in their environment, the work environment, make employees feel heard, and all that stuff.
And the world is better now.
Yeah. So,
I did it. I saved the
all
world.
right, guys, imagine it's like, hey, Kenny, Daniel,
Yes.
I fucked up. I messed up.
Here's some money.
I messed up.
That should fix all your
I
problems.
am giving you 0.0025 of my net worth into apologizing. Here's a freaking
I mean, to
penny.
be fair
you
though,
idiot.
what is your net worth?
Here's a penny, you idiots.
You're
That's all I'm saying. That's literally what they like. It's you could consider that a slap on
That's
the wrist.
essentially what they did.
That's literally a slap on the
that's
wrist, and-
essentially what they did.
I can't.
and Bobby Kotick will still buy his 12th yacht.
So I mean, like it's whatever. But like, it's just why I'm glad people are leaving COD to go play Halo, Battlefield. People are leaving Warzone to play Apex because Apex actually has a ranking
I'm
system.
pretty sure most people are leaving COD.
Sucks, man. I mean, honestly, like the newest one, I played the beta, and wow, I played one game, and it's like you might as well copy paste Modern Warfare into it with worse guns.
Yeah,
It's really
worse
bad when you
maps.
launch the game.
yeah.
When you launch the game, you see 4 different iterations of Call of
Oh, yeah.
Duty, and you find
Oh,
it really puts into perspective of like how this franchise is. They're like, yeah, this is just a minor difference between the same fucking engine.
Well, Black Ops Cold War was very different, but still, like, essentially they're all trying to be the same game.
They're
Like,
trying to be the Modern Warfare.
yeah, and I mean, I think out of all of them, Modern Warfare is the best one. But Sledgehammer with their game, it follows in close second with the because it's the same engine. So they brought back tactical sprint and wall mounting.
Right.
There's sliding, obviously, just like the other two. But yeah, I mean,
Hasn't been sliding been like a thing for like ever though?
since Black Ops 3.
Like I'm saying, I
Black Ops 2 didn't have
Oh,
it?
okay, yeah, it was.
Black Ops 3 had it. No, Black Ops 2 I think had PhD flopper and all
No,
that
but it didn't
stuff.
have sliding.
Didn't
It didn't have
No.
sliding.
didn't Ghost have sliding? I remember.
Ghost did
No, or
have
did it
sliding.
had? But they took it away and then they brought it back later.
No, they kept it throughout the rest of the series.
So Ghost introduced sliding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to be
Okay.
sure. Remember how awkward it was to do dolphin dives in Modern Warfare 2?
Modern Warfare 2. It had dolphin types?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember that.
No, they didn't.
I'm pretty sure they
Black
did.
Ops
No,
1
they
is the one that introduced it.
Yep.
Unless you're talking about like a gimmick
dolphin.
that, hey, if you run like this and you slide like this, you could technically do a dolphin dive.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looked really
Oh, okay,
weird.
then no, I'm not
yeah,
aware of
it's
that.
called prone jumping.
Prone jumping. There you go. That's it.
That's-
it's
that's
just when
some
I was
bullshit
playing
I'm
it, people
making
called
up.
it.
All it is you jump and then you go prone right afterwards.
You basically hit crouch while you're in the air,
Oh.
and then it just simulates a dolphin dive. Like it doesn't have the proper dolphin dive animation, but it might as well be the
I
same
see
thing.
what you mean
Right.
now. Yeah, yeah. The poor man's
Yeah.
dolphin dive. I got it.
Right. That's what I meant to say. Remember when they tried to do dolphin diving in Modern Warfare
My
2?
bad. Yeah, I will say though, like, I don't know how I feel. Like, I love zombies. So, like, maybe I'll play Vanguard just to play zombies. And it took me a while to, like, realize that the only way I can play Cold War multiplayer is on PC, where I can really be a sweat lord. But Vanguard, like, I might just get it for the zombies, tell you the truth. But here's the thing, though. As great as Modern Warfare 1 for, like, 2019 Modern Warfare 1, right? When they come out with Modern Warfare 2, are you guys thinking of getting it? Because you already know that Modern Warfare was a great title. Like, it felt great.
I might get Modern Warfare 2, but I'm definitely not going to get the newer CODs.
Yeah,
Probably won't get it because honestly, though, after Warzone, I kind of regretted buying Modern Warfare.
true. I mean, even though it's free
I,
now.
I enjoyed Modern Warfare. Like,
No, for Warzone's free,
Right.
but not the game itself.
No, I feel you.
talking about Modern Warfare, like 2019 or Modern Warfare Remastered.
2019.
Campaign was great.
I bought 2019 because I actually was looking forward to it. I thought the multiplayer was going to be fucking fun because Black Ops 4's multiplayer was fucking dog
It
shit.
was.
Same with
Oh,
Black
Jesus
Ops.
Modern
Christ.
Warfare's multiplayer was fucking fun at the beginning, and then
Then it became insufferable later.
well, it's because they changed a lot of stuff. It went from a slower running speed to a faster one, like how it was in the beta, and then they wanted to change everything.
I will say though
afterwards.
with Modern Warfare's multiplayer, they definitely had to change some things because people obviously exploited some mechanics that were in the game, and like even some weapons were busted, like really busted. That they really
Yeah, if you try to play Modern Warfare now in 2021, it's full of sweat lords. Like you are drenched in sweat when you're playing that game.
I mean,
now.
I only play hardcore, so I mean, it's something that I'm used to. But it's so much fun that any weapon can one shot. So no matter what you use, so you essentially have to be good in order to just play Modern Warfare. But I might skip on Vanguard. I don't know. Depends on how the zombies is. But I will say that Modern Warfare 2, we already know like it's gonna continue the story, so maybe I might pick it up. Hopefully do it better with the campaign, but it's just the thing is it's an Activision Blizzard game, so I'm just like, I don't know.
Vote with your dollar, but gamers will never do that because they still buy games from companies that they know are dog shit.
I just know that I'm not going to enjoy it, and that's my issue. Is that I know I don't want to put myself through all that stress of playing the garbage game, and then being upset at the fact that I'm playing a garbage game.
Thank God you're not a Call of Duty commentary guy because holy shit, because that would be the worst right now.
I
There's a
wouldn't
reason
care.
why a lot of those.
That's the thing. I'm
Those
so
Call of Du-
biased about this stuff. Like I enjoyed Modern Warfare. Don't get me wrong. Modern Warfare was great.
Mm-hmm.
Black Ops Cold War multiplayer to me sucked. This
Yeah.
one is going to suck. So there's no winning. There's no winning. Like you have one good Call of Duty. What feels like now, every 5 years, maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah, because Black Ops 4 didn't do too well when it comes
Yeah.
to like as a whole, as a package. People were like okay with the zombies. People were like not so happy about Blackout because you had to pay for it, and people weren't so happy with the lack of campaign. Which honestly, I don't get why people are so upset with lack of campaign. Like you played mostly just for multiplayer, but I guess I
Yeah,
know
but then when they came out with the Modern Warfare multiplayer and campaign, well, sorry, the campaign for Modern Warfare, it was like, holy crap, they actually put a lot of work into this game, and
right. They make it
the campaign really sealed the deal as to why a Call of Duty should have a campaign.
right. But here's the thing, and I said this in the previous episode, but I'll touch on it a little bit. That Modern Warfare's campaign, you can play it once, maybe twice, because you can appreciate the realism when it comes to certain tactics. Although some things aren't historically correct, like the Hell's Highway, whatever it's called, that they say the Russians made.
Yeah.
It was the Americans who made that, and they were just trying to whitewash that. They're just trying to wash it away, saying like, yeah, it was the Russians. It wasn't. But like the campaign, if like you can get most achievements in one go, maybe two. You can even go for three. But Black Ops, Cold War campaign was so much better than like there's so many more options to do. Like sure the game was linear.
I couldn't get invested in that game at all. I don't know what it was.
I never touched the
It was
campaign.
just the feeling
me
of it.
either.
It's like okay, so the best way I can describe it is like why I can find like Dishonored 2. Like I get why people hated Dishonored 2 at the beginning because it was a mess at the beginning, but if you play it now it's already fixed. That thing's a masterpiece. The things you can do, like it's still a linear game. Obviously, you have your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth mission, and
Third,
you
fourth, and fish.
fish. Yes. So yeah, because it's
Bass.
a game filled with a bunch of like you go to Karnaka. It's a basically a what's it called a sailor's
port town.
Port. Yeah, there's a whole lot of fish. So
I mean, to be fair though, the first Dishonored game really has a hard on for whales. I mean, like,
well,
you know,
yeah, there was a point
Yeah.
even in the world history that people loved using whale oil. That we basically hunted a bunch of whales because, well, we can use their blubber to make oil.
and now we worship the
And
whales.
then we started making steam power and electricity, and now we don't need them anymore. But either way, like it's still a linear campaign, but the amount of things you can do in that campaign and that story is fascinating. It's like I didn't know you can combine this power with that power. I can do this to activate this certain dialogue, which is why people really love a set path, but they love that you can branch out in so many different ways. That's why I kind of like Cold War's campaign, but it's not like the best campaign ever. Like narratively speaking, I think Black Ops 1 has that in the cake because that Black Ops 1 campaign
agree.
was just everywhere, dude. It's just
The Black Ops 1's campaign is so vaguely fresh on my mind. Like, none of the other campaigns, as far as narrative-wise, doesn't
right.
attach to me whatsoever.
I mean, we all know about the Russian, the whole Makarov lighting up a Russian airport and then blaming the
Yeah.
Americans.
Yep.
That one's pretty
Yep.
like hardcore. But all I know is that, like, yeah,
Well, I think Modern Warfare takes the cake for the darkest Call of Duty campaign out of all of them so far.
like
I think World at War.
World at War was the darkest campaign
Well,
ever.
yeah, well that's true, but I mean, look at what happened with the White Phosphorus mission at the beginning of Modern Warfare.
Oh yeah,
And
no, that's
then
real.
Literally, the following mission was Piccadilly, where a guy literally blows up Piccadilly.
Right. There's a terrorist attack on
And then
Piccadilly.
the nuke goes
You know
off.
what I mean? Like those
Yeah.
are really dark moments when you sit back and think about it.
Right. At the grand scheme of things, like, holy shit, dropping a bomb like that, all those innocent
It
people
wasn't
dying.
even
But, you know
dropping
what?
a bomb. It was a suicide bomber. It wasn't even like it was worse.
Wait, I'm talking about the mission where, like, you're crawling out of a helicopter because a bomb got dropped.
Oh, you're talking about Modern Warfare 1. Like the
Modern Warfare 1. Yeah, oh,
No,
I thought we were
Modern
still
Warfare.
talking about...
No, we're talking about 2019.
When it comes to
Oh, okay. I wasn't know you were talking about
yeah,
that one.
he says that that's a darker campaign, but like World at War is it's set
Pretty gruesome.
It's not just gruesome, but every other World War II game at the time, because a lot of companies did a whole lot of World War II, Vietnam, yada yada yada.
Yeah, it was just an oversaturated market at that point.
But here's the thing, though:
That's why Modern Warfare was a
their
big deal.
campaign wasn't as brutal and real when it came to World at War. World at War really pushed some buttons when it came to like, hey, this is what happened at war, and they really did. They held their punches in some things, but unlike the rest of the competition and their previous titles, World at War, they did not hold back. So I feel like that's why like World at War is my favorite campaign ever, just because like you're fighting the war on two fronts. There is no it's crazy, but yeah.
But aren't you guys excited to fight against your team and my team in Vanguard? That's going to be great.
Yeah,
that's gonna be,
I remember
that's going to be in for the history books, boys.
I
thought it couldn't get as bad. Well, let me tell you something. Remember when Call of Duty World War II came out and they took off the little thing called the swastika out because they really didn't want to piss people off about playing as a Nazi, apparently?
Yeah.
Well, now they doubled down on it. I'm assuming, now to be fair though, from what I've read, it's a beta thing. They could probably fix it later on, but I just find that really funny. It's like you couldn't bother just put the proper title of your fucking enemies by just saying like the Axis or something, but they just put my team and enemy team.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty ridiculous. It's like, okay, you want to add female soldiers in Call of Duty? Cool, whatever. I don't care. But then it's like, oh, we're going to get rid of swastikas. Why?
Yeah, I mean, history, like even the history books depict swastikas.
I mean, they have to.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I get it. It's a video game, and like it's not accurate to the time period, but at the same time, it's still it's still depicting a portion of history to an extent.
Yeah, and then Battlefield 5 came out and said, "Fuck you, we're gonna go ahead and add a woman with
and then add women into the mix."
Right, which I never cared about that. I want to make that
exactly.
clear. I don't really give a shit about that. But it's just like you can't be picky on certain things. That's where it's just like, okay, fine. You want to add women, cool, but you should be putting swastikas too while you're at it.
With Battlefield 5 campaign and their trailer versus Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 never claimed to be historically accurate. Because it's merging everything.
Because 2042 hasn't happened yet.
But they did claim that Battlefield 5 and its campaign was supposed to be historically accurate, and there was women in the front lines, which didn't. Only the Russians had that, and even then, they
I'm
weren't.
not saying it never happened.
They weren't really in the front line, but they did fight. But even then, like they had the prosthetic soldier, the British soldier with a katana. Like it's like try again, please.
Why don't look if at that point? Why don't you just go all out? Just make it fucking creative. I don't give a shit. Make it a fucking punk World War II game. I'll be all over that fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah,
Diesel
dude.
punk.
Diesel punk. I don't fucking care. Go fucking make the game look like Rage World War II, and I'll still fucking think that
Rage
should be
World
better.
War
I'm
II.
all for like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like fuck it. But I don't care. Like I don't give a shit. If you want to make an alternate history, make an alternate history. There you go. You solved the problem right there. If you make it an alternate history, fuck it. It's an alternate history. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. But if you try to say we're trying to keep it accurate, it's like, okay, then we're gonna hold the standards of accuracy to what you've shown us to what is actually accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, racism was a really big part of the whole World War II. So I mean, yeah, I don't quite understand why some companies want to go for like, hey, we're gonna keep this historically accurate, but then say maybe not. We're just gonna make the game playable. I'm pretty sure it's just marketing and whatnot, trying to make sure everything's like right so they can get their bottom dollar. Like a company doesn't have the moral incentive to.
Well, that didn't pay off that well now, did it?
Well, I mean, people started playing Battlefield 5 because obviously it's...
Yeah, but it's still... I think it's still one of the worst sold Battlefield games.
I think it's at the beginning, but ever since the release of the trailer of...
I mean, to put in perspective, when the game came out, it went down to $40 goddamn dollars at launch because people were trying their best to sell the game. I still remember that.
But thanks to the... much like with the Witcher 3 show on Netflix, it caused The Witcher 3 to... go crazy in sales to the point where the original author tried suing CD Projekt Red, saying, "Hey, like, I want more money," and also with the player peak, the amount of people playing Witcher 3 grew substantially, even more so than its previous people when the game first was launched, because of a show. But thanks to the Battlefield 2042 trailer, the sales for Battlefield 5, 1, 3, and 4 went up. Because people wanted to play Battlefield now, because they were excited about this trailer, because the trailer had basically a bit of everything. It even had that what's that trick called when you eject out of a jet and you rocket launch another jet.
You rocket launch,
That was
I think since like Battlefield 3.
Yeah, it was from Battlefield 3. It was a clip that they were reenacting.
Right, but they were basically just saying, hey, like, it's just basically fan service, and it's something.
We acknowledge the community.
Yeah, and it was something that like even the person who first did this, the creator of that technique, popped off like crazy when he saw it on his live stream. So people saw the hype for 2042, and they're like, dang, now I want to play Battlefield. What kind of Battlefield? I don't care, just a Battlefield. And that's why Battlefield 5 sales like actually went up, surprisingly.
Well, I just looked up the numbers real quick. It looks like Battlefield 1 sold 22.5 million, and then 25 million. Battlefield 3 sold 17. Battlefield 4 sold 14. Battlefield Hardline, I knew that game. I heard it was a piece of shit. I'm not surprised that it sold badly. But to put in perspective, just to put in the scales here, Battlefield 1, the game before Battlefield 5, was 25 million. Battlefield 5 was only 7.
Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah. So
even then,
probably
even then,
that's why they're like, hey, maybe we shouldn't, tell our audience to not buy our game because we want to really push a narrative when we really shouldn't be. I'm just saying.
Right, yeah.
If you tell your audience don't buy our game, people are just gonna take our word for it. I know us gamers are not the smartest with that shit, but
who said that? About don't buy our game. Was it EA?
One of the directors of Battlefield 5. I'll find the quote exactly. Battlefield 5. Don't like it, don't buy it. Here we go.
Was it similar to when the people who worked on Diablo say, hey, don't you have a phone? Don't you already have a phone?
Yeah, kind of.
Jesus.
Let's see. Development push. Here we go. Battlefield 5 has seen a lot of unseen, untold, unplayed, common perceptions of that there were no women in World War II. There was a ton of women who both fought in World War II and took part in the war. I'm going to find exactly the quote. Listen, this is a game, and today gaming is gender diverse like it has been before. There are a lot of female people who want to play, and male players who want to play as a badass woman, and we don't take any flack. We stand up for the cause because I think those people who don't understand it, well, you have two choices. Either accept it or don't buy the game. I'm fine with either or. It's just not okay. Yikes.
I wouldn't be surprised if another company did the exact same thing just because they got too much into their feelings and something like that happens. All I know is that when it comes to PR and mediums, some people got to be vetted, man. Some people got to be like definitely.
Oh yeah, you brought up earlier about those guys about like, oh, don't you guys have phones? Those guys are not really PR people. Those are the developers, and they're reading a teleprompter all the time. When you ask these people these questions, they're kind of caught on the spot because that's not their profession. People get into the career of talking to the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
I will say that I don't know if you guys do this, but like sometimes you'll hear some nonsense from someone, and then you just ask them why, and then they just don't answer because they don't have a reason why they do such a thing. They just do it just to do it. And when you ask these developers just get asked why are you doing this, they just didn't know what to do, so they just basically attacked. They basically went attack mode, and they're like, you know what? Don't buy it then. And that doesn't look good for anyone, honestly. Like, no. Imagine someone says, hey, I don't like it that Halo has this one thing that, like, what was it that we were talking about earlier throughout in the week about?
Oh, button combos.
The what? The button combos?
The button combos?
The one where you get the really, really fast melee?
Yeah, that's the button combos. I've seen videos of that. Shit is hilarious. It looks like sock and boppers.
Is it still up there, Kenny? Like the whole melee thing? The whole... What do you call it?
The button combos right now they're still there, but they're probably gonna patch that
you
out of the game. No,
I hope not.
Been a victim of it.
I hope not, dude.
No, they have to. They already
patched out the glitch where people, when you get meleeed and you're really low on health, your whole body just flies into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. But you're dead though, right?
Yeah, you're dead, but like it's like when the giant hits you with the hammer in Skyrim. And
in Skyrim you go flying.
You fucking fly.
You go pew into the sky. I mean, it's very similar to that.
But they kept it in though. They kept it in because it was.
They got rid of it.
Oh, but here's the thing though, right? I love Warframe, right? Warframe is one of those games that like I'm glad an indie, this indie title, which basically now is as good as a AAA game. They have this weapon. They have these type of weapon class called the Great Swords, And there was this weapon mod that if you put it on, it makes your weapon bigger because that's the point. But there was a certain glitch with the newer weapon, with the newer greatsword, that hey, this made the greatsword even bigger. It made it huge. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was having fun. And then the Warframe dev team patched it. Everyone was like, "Why the hell did you patch it? We want it. It's stupid. It's funny. We want this." And they're like, "Oh, okay. If you guys want it for the memes, go right ahead. It doesn't affect gameplay all that much, but sure, go ahead. Here you go." And they gave it. No one's ever complete sense. So unless this little button mashing combo thing doesn't really like mess up the whole flow and style of Halo, like I'll.
It drastically does, though. You are literally. You guys ever seen the video about the guy saying, "I'm gonna show you motherfuckers how to do an Infinite in Marvel 2"? That's essentially what it is.
Imagine that in Infected, Kenny. Just Infected already.
I was about to say, Kenny, like you've been playing the tech preview, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing in. I'll probably play after I'm done doing a raid tonight.
Nice. Well, how's the this preview compared to the last one? Have you seen like any drastic changes or anything noticeable?
Frame rate's worse.
Worse?
Oh, that's good to
I like
hear.
that.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, so
That'll be another delay.
So like
for the cinematic experience,
Didn't it
right?
already delay it?
It's just weird. Like on my Series X, it runs at like 45 frames, and they did delay it. They delayed it by a year. It runs at like 45 frames on quality mode, even though it's supposed to run at 60 frames, no matter which mode I'm running it on.
Okay.
And then on PC, I have a 3080 Ti, so you'd figure,
Right.
well, I'd get good frames. I have a high-end CPU. I have a Core i9 Core i9 10900K, and what's it called? It runs like crap on there.
Yikes.
Yeah, I have to drop it down to 72 frames in order for me to get some smooth frame rates.
I mean, then again, you did have a bad experience with Halo already, with Master Chief Collection. So you think that might
The Halo bug.
a big old Halo bug? You think that might be it?
There's a reason why Halo stopped coming to PC. It was just not. It was just. It was too detrimental.
Playing
I
Halo
don't know what's going
on mouse and keyboard is such a euphoric feeling, dude.
Oh, that's for sure.
I mean, playing. Well, yeah, playing. I mean, like most of my experience through Halo was playing it with the fucking school computer back in the day.
Heck yeah,
like,
me too.
So like, yeah, like that's what I'm just used to. Like playing a first person shooter with controllers is very weird to me.
I always knew PC was the way to go for gaming, but I didn't know. Like I knew it, but I didn't understand it until I played Halo in 9th grade on a PC, and I was whatever. On controller, I wasn't the best, but I wasn't the worst. But when I played in Halo on PC, on mouse and keyboard, I was cracked. On Halo Combat Evolved, I was cracked as hell, dude. And I'm like, dude, I can't play Halo on controller. I could, but it wasn't the same.
I can't play a single like first person shooter with a controller. I feel like I remember Marcos and me were at a convention and we were checking out this booth with the custom controllers and I think you're talking to the salesperson. I was trying to play World War II with the controller and I've never felt more odd in my entire life because I played Call of Duty on the PS3, right? And it still feels weird to me that you don't hold L1 to aim and R1 to shoot because that's how it was back in the day, right? Yeah. But I guess to simulate the Xbox triggers, they switched it over to L2 and R2, and that felt weird as fuck.
You can change it though. There's a settings.
Yeah, of course, but that was just weird. Like it's like, yeah, of course you can, but that doesn't even still solve the problem. It's just like I still felt really out of my comfort zone playing a first-person shooter with a controller.
Yeah, but like L1 and R1 are like, grenade and what's the other one?
Right, because they're simulating the 360 formula.
Yeah, but that way makes more sense because you have triggers. What do you do when you pull a trigger on a gun? It's a trigger. You pull a trigger on the gun. You pull a trigger on the controller, so it simulates better.
For your murder simulation, right?
Exactly.
I will say though, I preferred it on the bumpers only because there's less travel, there's less play, so there's less time between.
Yeah, it's a button.
Yeah.
Do you guys play in the cloth formation, as some
Hell
people
no.
say?
Hell no.
I do
Okay.
want to, but there's points where my hands get sweaty and I don't have proper grip and I just get annoyed. So I stopped doing
I
that.
feel bad for the people who use claw grip for like their day-to-day like controller. Like I was watching some
Yeah,
guys
the
review of
issue
like
with that
the
is you get
first
carpal tunnel, and the next thing you know, you get
right.
arthritis, and all your freaking fingers are just curled in like that for the rest of your life.
Hey, but that's the thing though. That's the price you got to pay to be an elite gamer. Because honestly, that claw grip, oh dude, I've seen some Warzone players play it, and they can do action so much faster because they're playing on controller with claw grip.
Then why not just do it with an elite controller with the paddles on the back?
No, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about for buttons in general. I'm talking about just very like what was it with their index finger, and like I've seen one
Their
player with their index finger and thumb move around the right joystick to like really accurately like get that, like even with aim assist, to really get that aim assist, like it's get that money worth, right? And then
Yeah.
they have their middle of the ring finger
They really want to jerk that stick, essentially.
basically, and you if you have a claw grip and if you're used to playing that way, like you really can't do much when it comes to those little macro buttons in the back where like it's little paddles or whatever. But like all I know is that people who play that way like to play that way, and they tend to be kind of cracked too. Like even if you play Smash Bros, people who play like that
Yeah.
tend to have a little bit more control with certain inputs because they don't have to worry about joystick snapping, or they don't have to worry about what's this thing called missed inputs, because they have different fingers on different buttons just doing their thing. But I don't know. But it is true with the carpal tunnel thing. Like it sucks though. But like that's the price you pay for becoming a god,
Being a gamer.
for being a gamer.
Yeah, I mean,
being an actual gamer.
my hand literally, it's the meme where it's just like my hands look like this, so her hands are like this, and then it's just his hands
It's
again.
just arthritis all over the place.
That's disgusting.
Yep, pretty much.
I don't know what it is, dude. Every time
Have you guys ever felt like wrist pain before while playing
Wrist
games?
pain?
Only
No.
it depends, because on PlayStation I'll play laying on my back and looking at the TV, and then that's when I'll start to get wrist pain, and I'll have to stop for a minute and like wiggle my hand and then go back to what I was doing.
The worst I get is that I've noticed that if I play like a bunch of hours of Apex, like just straight on and not having a
that's
fun
why.
time at all. Yeah, that's probably why. It probably doesn't help either that I don't have like a big enough desk like Kenny, where you could put your entire arm on the desk and still have plenty of space and shit. I have to mainly put my elbows on my armrest on my chairs, on my chair, to just like get comfortable with it.
That's how I usually
But
do it anyways.
But there'll be times where it's just like I'll be playing and I'll just get like the worst fucking strain like on my arm and shit, and I gotta like stop for the day. I'm just like, yeah, I can't play this anymore. But that's like I said, no pain, no
I
gain.
wouldn't say wrist pain. I've
trying to-
never had that, except maybe like if I did forearm exercises that involved moving my wrists at the gym, then my wrists are not more. Just that whole area gets a little bit sore. But I have had an elbow pain, not pain, but like discomfort, because when I'm playing on PC, I don't have armrests, so my elbows are just dangling, and only ever twice that like my elbows felt like, dang, this is annoying. Like I need to put it on something, and then that's the only thing. But wrist, no, not really.
Okay. I was just, we just got to talk about the, hopefully there'll be a health insurance that's focused on gamers. It's going to be called Dr. Mario's Game Insurance.
We're gonna patent that. And that's gonna be our invention. We need to make that.
Hello there, my fellow gamers who got carpal tunnel, not getting proper medication because your insurance doesn't understand that your career is that of being a pro CSGO player. Welcome to Dr. Mario's health insurance.
Wait, don't they already sell like proper like infused like gloves that already do stuff like that? It's like it's actually for
Dude, at
gamers?
that point, I'd rather go full on Cyberpunk and just get like robotic arms and shit.
Yeah, but I like my biological hands. They're warm and then also nice, but they're not as practical.
Yeah, but you can.
I'll install heaters in my hands.
There you go. Exactly. This is Cyberpunk. You can do whatever you want to your body.
Fuck yeah,
You
dude.
can install plastic skin if you want it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, like, I'm telling you, man, we as mankind are destined to evolve ourselves through
Unless we
machinery.
nuke ourselves to death.
And then we rebuild ourselves. It's part of the evolutionary process,
It's
my dude.
part of Fallout. I mean, it's part of the evolutionary process, my dudes.
I will say though,
Exactly.
that like, and I'll finish off with this, right? Given corporations being being regulated as time goes on, because like, hey, you messed this up, you got to fix this. in the Deus Ex universe, almost everyone has a freaking implant because their arm got ripped off because of a freak accident. Like, how often are these accidents happening? How many people do you
Every
guys
day.
know now that have a prosthetic arm or leg? I know a couple, but not like.
Yeah, I only know a handful.
I mean, to be fair, though, the Deus Ex universe isn't exactly the most friendliest of
No.
places, so I mean, I'm not that fucking...
I'm not saying that either. I'm just. But either way, either people want prosthetics.
Besides, most of those people probably got the prosthetics voluntarily, not because they lost a
Yeah,
limb.
that's true. But I'm saying is like if you play throughout the campaign, people saying, "Dang, dude."
Which is really weird because the new Deus Ex game makes it seem like they're in the impoverished type because of a medical drug that they need, now they're dead broke. It's like, well, if you're rich enough to get the prosthetic, then didn't you like think that you will need the fucking medication?
Yeah, that's true.
I think you forget that people actually like spend their money on
Think.
nonsense. And yeah,
Right, that's true. No, I know what they're going for. I'm well aware of it. It just makes it a little bit like you solve the problem by adding an element into the storyline to explain it, but then it brings up another question as well.
yeah, I guess so. But it's just a narrative.
But
issue.
oh shit, yeah, exactly. Oh shit, it's about that time actually, kids. We gotta go. You know, I got the college bus going. You know, I'm going away like Steve, like Blue's Clues. You know, good luck. I got my boy Kenny here. He'll be taking over the show now.
Yeah, I'll never forget you.
Marcos. Yeah, Marcos. You know, bark. You know, say something.
Bark.
I want to be this. I want to be the chair that you sit on when you're reading the mail.
He wants to.
Oh wait.
Yeah,
Wait,
so-
can you still get a boner though? Like, hang on now.
No,
No,
comment.
dude, he's just gonna sit in the chair and be like, "Yo, homie, oh yeah, homie, how's it go? Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah."
what? You were working on your roof? Yo, I mean, just sit down, man. You need a rest. Let me get a sniff.
I like the Sonic one. Where it's like, "Hey there, sorry about that. I just noticed you were standing over there." Fuck.
Literally me at any convention.
My look.
Oh,
Geez, I vomit. All right, you know what? I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to anime conventions. Anime conventions are banned.
Especially
that's
here
so
in South
funny.
Florida, where everyone's sweating.
Man, I hope that. I don't know if those convention people are gonna eventually give us their booth now.
dude, I
hope
just
so.
think a lot of people need to invest in deodorant. That's all I think.
Man, we need. I hate to. You know what? You know what? Maybe hear me out for a minute. Maybe we need to just put dedicated showers once you walk into the convention center. You know, like you walk in, you come in a bus, and then they put you into showers because you fucking people are gross as fuck, and you have to bathe.
What
Wait.
sort of showers are we
You're
talking
sounding like
about?
a Nazi there, dude. You gotta slow.
Wait, did I? Oh, whoopsies, whoopsie daisy. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm wearing my Frankfurter hat on. Whoopsie daisy. How did this fall on my head? Whoopsies.
It's kind of sus.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Don't say it like that.
What's that? Oh, what's that, comrade? You said I'm sussy now? Oh, shit.
My gosh, please. For those who are listening to this
Did you
podcast,
hear?
please, I need you to translate keys, cow, in the English word keys and cow to Filipino. I am not sorry. You deserve the punishment that you'll get when you translate it, and I want chaos.
I'm gonna call it right now. Years from now, when we finally make it big and shit, people are gonna find this shit and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, can you believe what Daniel said? He deserves to get
You're
canceled.
literally bedridden on your deathbed. Get canceled.
Get canceled." Ha ha. Joke's on you. My conscience has already evolved to a point where I can't die. The cyberspace has put me into immortal. I can't. What are you gonna do? Cancel me? I'm already in the fucking virtual reality, banging every fucking waifu of yours. You stupid
I have
fuck.
Listen,
I win.
have Game Pass Hyper Extreme Ultimate. My consciousness is now on the X Cloud. All right, you gotta relax. You can't cancel me,
Look, I'm ready to listen to the Yeezus album. I'm already elevated,
Jesus.
And this is where I'm calling it, everybody.
dude. Yeah, we're gonna call it right
Oh,
there.
okay.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna call it there. We're gonna get to this. All right. Thank you so much for watching the DKM podcast. If you haven't yet, please follow us on Twitter. We also have a Discord server. We would love to have you guys along for the ride and have you guys join our little community. We would love to grow our Discord server. Just remember, you could always watch us or listen to us on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere where you have any streaming services out there. We're going to try our best to get iTunes up and running. I don't know if Apple has ever gone back to my emails yet, but we're working on it. We're going to try to get our show on Apple Podcast. But with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it there. Stay safe. Take care. Until next time.